Hey guys, this is Keith with SpaceWarMachine. I'm going to be going through the learn how to play and talking about the different mechanics in the game. In my previous video, you can see more about the racial powers for each race. We're going to start by going over the game controls. So you can use the keyboard and the keyboard keys, or you could use the controllers. And up to 2 controllers are supported in this game. So it's a lot more fun, in my opinion, if you use a controller. So the triggers are a main plus. Using the left trigger to find your ally units and the right trigger to find your enemy units. And the rest of the keys we'll start going over shortly. So in the game, you can bring up the pause menu and look at your stats, and you'll see your different stats per the match. So these stats are loaded when the game is loaded, and every time you start a new battle, your battle number will increase by 1. And then your stats will save when you quit or restart the game from the main menu, from the in-game menu. So to select, you can either click with your mouse or you can use left bumper on your controller. And you'll start with 3 ships, and you can just click left bumper and you'll select your units. And you'll see the menu, their menu options, and they'll also be highlighted with a green circle around them. You can dismiss by hitting right bumper on your controller or right mouse, and your units will say bye, they'll no longer be selected, and you won't see their menu options anymore. Now you can move around in space. You can use the left stick to move around, you can use the WASD keys to move around, you can even edge pen with your mouse and go to different sides in the game. And you can also rotate the camera with the right stick on controller, and you can also zoom in and out with the right stick. And this is moving to locations is very key. You're going to want to build in multiple planets to survive. So starting with the terraforming is vital for you to build. So you have to get really close to a planet, and your terraformer will start firing off these terraforming rays. And you're going to be changing the planet. It's just going to be changing randomly through different environments until it gets to your correct environment. And it has to be like 90% terraformed for you to start building there. Your terraformer will deactivate once it's completely terraformed. And your units will say ready within range of the correct terraform planet. So you have to be close enough, and it has to be the correct type for you to build there. So if you're too far away from the planet, you're not within range and you can't build there. It's going to say no habitable planet found. So, and if you're like the angel race and you have a magma planet or something of the wrong race planet type, you're not going to be able to build there as well. So you have to be close enough, and then you press the key. So on the controller it's going to be A to deploy your ship, and on the keyboard it's going to be T. So deploying, after you deploy your factories, they're going to be in orbit. They're going to be basically satellites. They're not going to be moving. They're going to be remaining right there on that spot in the planet. So choosing the correct spots to build is a key strategy in how you're going to defend yourself. And these factories can build more ships and more advanced factories once you have enough resources. So with your factory selected, you're gonna see the options in the menu, and you can just press the controller options A, B, and X to pump out different ships. And then also when you have enough resources, you can do the ultimate building auction and hit Y, and you will hit another more advanced factory. Now these factories take a lot of resources to create, so that's why you're mostly going to be using A, B, and X to create combat ships while you wait for your factory resources to pool. Every time you deploy a factory as well, you get one of these resource generators, and it will be a mass extractor or a nuclear reactor, the mass or the energy, depending on which one you need for your factory. And they increase over time. Every time they tick, they get +1, +1, +1. So the longer these generators go, the more resources you will get, and the faster you will get those resources. And utility factories. So in addition to combat ships, there are also utility ships. And these utility ships are only created from utility factories, and they're for defensive purposes like healing, or creating a shield wall, or creating cloaking, different things like that. Terraformers also fall under the utility. And the level 2 utilities create the ultimate defensive weapon, which is the Star Station. Fighting. If you're gonna fight, you want to, on your controller, hit right stick. All your available units will immediately start to seek out enemies automatically. So this happens to selected units and unselected units. So if you want to keep control of your units after you set them to auto fight, you might want to have them selected before you try and do that. So you'll see the enemy ships outlined in red as well, and you're going to want to try and build defensive ships like satellites. Anything in the utilities sections is very good for defense as well. Now the 3 weapon types in the game are heat weapons, which you can see by a little fire icon. There's sonic weapons, which you can see by a little blue wave icon. And there's metal weapons, which you can see by a yellow metal icon. All of these icons are next to each of the health bars of ships. So it's basically, think of it like paper, rock, scissors. If you use the correct weapon type against another spaceship, then you will do good damage. But if you do terrible weapon type, then you will do horrible damage and will be not effective at all. So you can think of it this way, where the metal weapons will break sonic ships. Sonic weapons will blow out heat ships. And heat weapons will destroy and melt metal ships. So each one of those different weapon types is specific to counter another weapon type. And if you use the wrong weapon type, you're going to be doing barely any damage, if any. The next are level types. So you start building level 1 ships, and these are pretty weak and cheaper as well. And once you create more factories, you can build level 2 ships, which are about 10 times stronger. They have more advanced abilities. And then once you create the next advanced factory from that level, you can create level 3 ships, which are the ultimate ships. Those encompass the Avatar unit, which is a Sonic ship, the Juggernaut unit, which is the metal ultimate ship, and the Black Hole generator, which is the ultimate heat ship. So Building these 3 different levels will allow you to overcome your enemy's technology. If they start building level 2 and you don't have level 2, I would probably press start and bring out the time control and slow that down until you can go back to your base and create a level 2 to try and save yourself. It's all about levels and weapon types. Next is tips. You're going to want to explore the system. I usually try and build on top of planets or nearby or far away from suns. Either one is a good way to kind of create choke points for your enemy. And you're going to want to send your units to where their base is to destroy them. Because if you destroy their fighting units and you don't destroy their factories, they're just going to keep coming at you. Make sure to use the left trigger to find your units and the right trigger to find enemy units on the controller. And press the right stick down to engage auto fighting. Otherwise, that's it. You can always bring up these tips from the main menu in the game. And my next videos, I'm going to be talking about some more gameplay specific to the different races.